The other major story developing today, President Trump signing a new temporary immigration moratorium involving 6 countries. I want to bring in our panel right now to discuss. Herb London, Troy Slaten, Joe Walsh, and Michael Pregent. Troy, let me start with you because there's a lot of legal going back and forth already. I think at least 2 states have said that they would actually, I guess, file some sort of motion against this order, which is different, more fine-tuned, obviously, and I would suspect the White House thinks it's legally bulletproof.
I think the White House does. And one interesting thing is that this new executive order supersedes the prior one. That means any lawsuits relating to the prior order are moot. Initially, the administration had said it was going to defend the prior order, but this one is a lot more nuanced, and it addresses a lot of the things that the court had concerns with regard to the original order.
Joe, I know you're excited to hear that Lindsey Graham and John McCain like this one.
Well, Charles, that makes me damn suspicious. Look, you and I, Charles, talked weeks ago. No matter what Trump proposes, there will be lawsuits, the courts will get involved, and the left is going to protest. He's proposing a shift in a mindset here, and half of America is not going to be happy with it.
Are you happy with it, though? You're an interested observer?
No.
Why not?
I think he's made it too narrow, and I think, again, and I understand he wants to avoid having the courts get involved. He wants to avoid all the raucous out there, but he's taken away from what got him elected. And I know we can't say a Muslim ban, but he was elected to do whatever he can to keep dangerous people out of this country, and I fear that he's pulled back too far from that.
Well, just moments ago, Sean Spicer came out and said that exact thing. Let's take a listen.
Is it purely national security reasons that would justify adding another nation to the list?
It's always going to be national security.
Because you could effectively use this as leverage, I guess, in economic negotiations.
No. This is a national security issue, plain and simple.
Michael Pregent, let me ask, a national security issue, if that's the case, and we know that it is obviously what President Trump ran on, should Iraq continue to have been a part of that list?
Well, I'm glad to see Iraq come off, and the reason being is the Iraqis that worked with Americans to help decimate al-Qaeda in Iraq, the Kurdish fighters, the Peshmerga, and all the Iraqis that have worked with our U.S. State Department and our U.S. military were banned from coming to the United States, even though they had visas already in their possession. So if, in fact, we want to actually use this measure for national security, we need to front-load those Iraqis, get them working with DHS and our intelligence community and law enforcement. They're the exact people we need to help keep Islamists out of the country and help vet Syrian refugees. So I'm glad to see Iraq come off the list. Yeah,
especially in the midst of the fighting in Mosul. I would think that this would be a big shot of enthusiasm for them there. Herb, it's a 90-day moratorium now. 90 days goes by quickly. I mean,
that's right.
So how does this play out longer term? Because I doubt many of these countries, if any of them, get their act together in 3 months.
I don't think they can, but I think what you will see is, of course, the United States is primarily interested in dealing with this Trump administration, dealing with the questions that emerge from the courts. This is a way of neutralizing that kind of influence. It seems to me that one of the things that the president might very well have done is to say to the Christians and the Yazidis who've been facing these problems in Iraq and been decimated by ISIS forces, these people should be given special dispensation. I wish that could have been added to this general understanding of what's going on. That would have sent a very powerful symbolic message to those people in that part of the world that are suffering so desperately.
You know, Troy, in the meantime, the FBI reporting 300 recent refugees under suspicion, you know, and being investigated, if you will. I suppose that underscores why we needed this, but it also maybe suggests that with the now we're going to wait 2 weeks, it's already been several weeks. If you're one of the bad guys, you might have made your move already.
They might have, but what this order does is it says that anyone who is already in the pipeline, everyone that already had a green card or a visa is not going to be affected by this order. And that was the problem that the courts had prior. But I think the Attorney General Sessions was right on today when he said that there are over 300 out of 1,000. That means about a third of all people that are under investigation by the United States government for terrorist-related activities come from the refugee program.